dear ladies and gentlemen, dear OPA friends. It's my pleasure to welcome you today to this presentation of two high-level medical research projects that are financed by the European Commission. We call them layman events because we try to get the high-level medical data and treatments and research and put them into the words that would be easy understandable to general public and also to patient groups. So sharing medical research data with general public, patient organizations as we are, and also patients is of paramount importance for several reasons. Firstly, transparency in research findings fosters trust and accountability in the healthcare system, allowing us to make informed decisions about our treatment. Furthermore, disseminating data empowers patients with knowledge, enabling us to actively participate in our healthcare journey and advocate also for our needs. Patient organizations as ours also benefits from the access to research data as it equips us with evidence-based insights to better support our members and also to advocate for policy changes at the highest levels in the European Union. Additionally, sharing research data can also lead to accelerated discoveries as it encounters collaboration among scientists, healthcare professionals, public, and also potential anyone who is interested in the topic. This can also advance medical breakthroughs and improve healthcare outcomes for all. In essence, the open sharing of medical research data promotes transparency, patient empowerment, collaboration, and ultimately the advancement of healthcare for the benefits of the society as a whole. I leave you today for sharing the event into the hands of Ms. Veronika Przetichkova, who is the leader of all European affairs at European Liver Patient Association. Ms. Przetichkova, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marco, for a nice introduction. Without further ado, I will give the floor to our speakers. So welcome also everyone who is watching us. So this is the first layman event for the European project Liveration, unrevealing the impact of radio frequency in a liver surgery, the key to decrease local recurrence. So with us, there are Dr. Carlos Fuste, Dr. Miriam Rol Garcia, Professor Dr. Dimitris Mauridis, and Mr. David Alcantara, who will present now the overall aim of the project, and they will also touch on specific objectives connected to a specific work packages inside of this project. Without further ado, Dr. Carlos Fuste, the floor is yours.
As I said, my name is Carlos Fuste. I'm a medical doctor and I'm project manager of the Liberation Project, working for the coordinator of a sponsor and at the same time coordinator of this project, who is Hospital del Mar. Hospital del Mar is a hospital in Barcelona. Here you have the image. Can you see my mouse? Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So here you have a little image of the hospital. You have on the left the building of the hospital or some part of the building of the hospital, and we're associated with the hospital. There is a research center where you have investigators and monitors and finance people and project managers like me. So I'm working here on this research center in Hospital del Mar, and we are the coordinators and also the sponsors of this project and also of this study. First of all, let me introduce the principal investigators of this study. So I am working mainly for him. Those are these three doctors. You have Dr. Fernando Gordillo, Dr. Patricia Sanchez, and Dr. Benedetto Ielpo. One of them, the coordinator, is Dr. Patricia Sanchez Velázquez. All of them are hepatobiliary surgeons working in Hospital del Mar from many years ago. And also they are, let's say, inventors a little bit of this technique of radiofrequency ablation. We'll speak later about the technicity of this technique. But I wanted to introduce the faces and the names of the doctors working on this study, because they are the real, let's say, inventors of the solution. We have some background showing that the solution is working, but now we will try to find more evidence that this solution is working well to prevent for the liver recurrences. Let's see all of this with some more slides and some more minutes. First of all, it's important to, I think, to remark that this is a multi-partner study. So it's not only Hospital del Mar working here. You have, for instance, a manufacturer, Beck Medical, that produces the device to help the patient reduce the local recurrences. We have other companies, we have other partners, Success, Shine, Bethesda Foundation, University of Ioannina, you have ECRIN, you have ELPA also, who kindly organized this meeting. So we are working in team, and we are working, all of us, for citizens, especially for patients. Our sense, our meaning is just patients, trying to find the best solution for patients and trying to be sure that we do not only do a study, we don't not only try to prove that this study with this or that technique is better than the old one. We also try to ensure that this study, that the results are well understood, well communicated, and we try also to be sure that the real quality of life of the patients undergoing this study and this technique is really improved. So we try to measure all the outcomes and all the consequences of this study for the patients. Okay, so it's not just Hospital del Mar; it's a big, quite a big group of companies working for the patients. Here you have some faces. I want to remark that it's a big group of people working in this project, people that work in any of the 8 partners or affiliated entities that I showed you before. You have here the big team. Some of them are speaking today. Okay. And now let's go and speak a little bit of the problem. We have quite a big problem in the world, also in Europe, of liver cancer. Here you have some statistics. Maybe the patients know even better than us what is the dimension of the problem. More or less 80 or 90,000 new cases of liver cancer in Europe each year, and more or less 500,000 patients now in Europe. More or less also 80,000 deaths per year. And in Europe, it's quite a frequent cancer. It's not the first, but it's among the 10 first causes of death by cancer in all the world, and 4% of all cancer deaths in Europe are produced by this problem, liver cancer. One of the parts, let's say subparts of the problem, is that there is only one solution for liver cancer, which is resection. You do a surgery, you open the abdomen, you find, if you can, the tumor in the liver, and you cut the tumor. You cut the tumor, you extract a part of the liver, and in principle, that's it. But this is only in principle, and we have, let's say, a sub-problem, which is called the recurrence. So after this cancer resection, it can be 2 kinds of cancer. It can be primary hepatocellular carcinoma, HCC. It can be also metastasis. You have a primary cancer on the colon, and sometimes the metastasis goes to the liver. So you can resect this tumor, but quite frequently the tumor comes back. So there is what we call a local recurrence, and the rate of local recurrence can be between 10 and 20%. So it's really a challenge. 10 to 20% of the patients that in principle go out of a surgery saying, well, probably I'm saved, I'm cured from my liver cancer. After some months, after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, cancer comes back, and they are not cured, and then the solution is really, really difficult, no? So we are thinking, Hospital del Mar and many investigators, they have been thinking for many years how to reduce this problem of local recurrence after tumor resection. Since many years ago, they've been studying what is happening when they do a new technique in the liver cancer. In some patients, they've been trying to do up to now what we call the additional coagulation of the margin. What's that? This is using a special electrode that produces not only hemostasis, but also produces deep coagulation of the tissue. And with that additional coagulation of the margin, if you apply it in the margin resection, they thought that probably the number of local recurrence will be reduced. They've been studying that in an initial study, what we call a retrospective study. So they are analyzing the cases that they have been done in the hospital for the last years. And if maybe it's a little bit technical, but I'll try to explain it. If you see the graph on the left, you see that the radiofrequency RF group of patients have a lower, a higher rate of survival. So they have less recurrence than the patients that are treated under the control group. So they have less recurrence and then more probability of being alive after months, month after month, after 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 or 120 months. So this is the initial evidence. It's somehow still weak evidence, because to be sure that this is working, what in science is needed is needed to be, we need to perform what we call a prospective. A prospective clinical trial is something that is planned with anticipation and with two arms, two kind of groups of patients randomized in any of those groups to be 100% sure that the additional coagulation of the margin, the technique that we are studying, is doing better, is going better, and patients in that group will have less local recurrence and then more survival. Let's try if you can see the video. Yes, it's a very short video. You see this device here. This is the device producing coagulation, deep coagulation of the tissue. With this deep coagulation, you try to kill the cells of the tumor that maybe they've been trying to escape from the resection, and that maybe in the future they will regrow and produce an additional tumor, what we call a recurrence. So this is the probable solution. This solution has a background, let's say, support, but now we need to study this better to be sure, and to be sure that this is going to be a real and effective treatment for this kind of patients. So the solution is what we call a pragmatic randomized clinical trial. Why pragmatic? Because in reality, you can do that technique now. So it's a technique very close to routine care, to real treatments in real life in current hospitals today in Spain and in Europe. But in reality also, we are not very sure, we are not 100% sure of what treatment is better. If the classical liver surgery treatment, you have it on the left, on the screen, or the initial solution that this hospital has been studying for the last 5 years, more or less. So that's why we'll do well-planned, randomized, you know the concept of randomized maybe. As you assign the patients, the same kind of patient can be assigned to one arm, the classical liver surgery, or to the study arm, the additional coagulation of the margin with radiofrequency. And then the primary endpoint will be to evaluate in real life the final level of local recurrence followed after 5 years. Sorry, 3 years. So that's it. That's our project. That was our solution. We are really hoping that this solution will confirm that it's useful and this is really a good treatment for the patients. And we hope that we will see again you in few years confirming that this is a good treatment and that we have been helpful in improving the treatment of liver cancer. Thank you. Do you have any question now, or maybe maybe you want to?
Maybe if I may, Dr. Fuster, to propose to just go through all the presentations, and
Good.
then I will ask the audience to keep their questions, and we have some time at the end of the presentations for Q&As.
Good.
Thank you very much. So I'm giving the floor to our second speaker, Dr. Paloma Moraga. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the presentation in the presentation mode?
So right now we see the slides, but if you can try to share it in the presentation more.
Right now, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, great. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, thank you everyone for joining this afternoon. My name is Paloma Moraga. I work as a clinical trial project manager and also as international project manager within the clinical trials unit of Hospital Universitario La Paz. This clinical trial unit is led by Dr. Alberto Borovia, and we also coordinate the Spanish Clinical Research Network, which provides support to the different researchers in Spain to perform their clinical research. And SCREN is part of ECRIN. ECRIN is one of the partners of the Liberation trial. It's similar to SCREN, but at an international level, providing support to perform clinical research within Europe. So today, as you know, I'm here to explain to you what we are going to be developing in the Liberation project. So I have divided in sections my presentation, but mostly I'm gonna be speaking about the regulatory of the trial and also the trial itself. Let me. No. So I will be speaking, I will be doing a brief introduction, really brief, because Carlos has explained more or less the slides that I also have. I will also speak about the objectives and the endpoints that we have in the clinical trial, the design of the study, the population that we need to be included to test, the different schedule of assessments and the different visits that are going to be performed within the clinical trial, and one slide regarding the investigational product, the medical device that is going to be used within the clinical trial, and also an overview for you to know where we are now in the process of the clinical trial. So a summary slide to have everyone at the same point. The sponsor of the trial is Hospital del Mar. The principal investigator that coordinates the whole clinical trial is Patricia Sanchez, which is part of the members of Hospital del Mar. The code of the trials is Liberation. It has been already registered at the clinicaltrials.gov registry. The design of the study is a multi-center because it's going to be performing different hospitals and in different sites in Europe. It's single blind, which means that the patient is not going to know which arm he's going to be allocated. The trial has two arms. One is the control and the other one is where we are going to test this coagulation devices. The trial is randomized, which means that the patient can go into one or into another. Control a clinical trial. So the number of subjects is 720, at which are around 30 per site. The whole clinical trial duration is about 5 years, having a 18 months period of recruitment. So I'm gonna be very briefly in this part of introduction because Carlos has already explained it, but just to summarize what he has already said is that the primary liver cancer is the 6th most commonly diagnosed cancer, being the hepatocellular carcinoma the main subtype. Also, the liver is the main site of metastasis from colorectal cancer, and by the moment, liver resection remains the standard of care to treating for the treatment of metastatic liver tumors, but the prevalence of local recurrence is about 20 and 10%. So for the last 2 decades, radiofrequency devices have been already used, but there is no evidence that the uses of these devices neither decreases the local recurrence nor increases the overall survival. So this is why the present study is going to be developed. Sorry. No. So what is our hypothesis? What is the thing that we want to test to see if it's true what we believe? Is that the enlargement of the liver transection margin with a radiofrequency device is going to be able to reduce this local recurrence from the 10% to the 3% over the conventional methods that are being used in colorectal cancer liver metastasis. So the objectives. The principal objective is to evaluate the efficacy. How are we going to do this? By measuring the local recurrence, which is to see if there's growth or enhancing tumor in the margin of hepatic resection, and by measuring the transection area. Then we have secondary objectives, which are related with the effectiveness. And this means that we are going to be measuring the overall survival of the patients, the disease-free survival for the patients. If some complications arise, some questionnaires about quality of life, we are also going to measure to be performing cost-effectiveness analysis. Regarding the study design, as I said in the summary slide, these are single blind, which means that the patient don't know where it's going to be allocated. Control, because we have one arm that is going to be control and the other one where we are going to be using the medical device. Randomized clinical trial, multi-center that is going to be performing different sites, around 30 patients per site, and the duration 5 years. So the countries that are involved, sorry? Okay. So the countries that are involved are Spain, France, Italy, Slovenia, Greece, Poland, and Switzerland. These are the sites that we are managing right now, 5 sites for Spain, 3 for France, 5 for Italy, 1 in Slovenia and Greece, 4 in Poland, and 1 in Switzerland. The treatment arms, as I was saying, we have one arm, which is the control. In this arm, we are going to perform the transection of the liver with conventional methods according to the surgeon standard of care treatment. And the study arm, which is going to be after the liver resection to have an additional coagulation of the margin. And this is why we are going to be using our radiofrequency devices, which are called Coulininvis or Aquamantis. What type of study population is going to be involved in the trial, what we call the inclusion criteria? So we are going to be including patients above 18 years old, who give their consent, also that have a WHO performance scale from 0 to 2. This scale is related to the ability to carry out normal activities. Patients that are suffering from liver metastasis of colorectal origin and suffering from primary liver tumors such hepatocarcinoma. A patient must not have been previously treated by either local therapy or resection in the liver, and patients who have had any previous chemotherapy regime is permitted. Regarding the exclusion criteria, patients that cannot be included in the clinical trial are the ones that have a non-resectable extrahepatic metastasis, previous or concurrent cancer that is distinct from one of the primary tumors of which the liver metastasis comes from, liver metastasis from other origin apart from colorectal, benign tumors, and also having an ISA scale of 4, which means that the patient illness is constantly threatening his life. So the trial, usually in clinical trials, we have these type of schedules. We have the different visits that the patient is going to need to be visiting to the hospital and the different examinations that are going to be performed to the patient in each of the visits. So as you see, we have a first visit where the patient is going to be selected, what we call a screening. The doctors will give them the informed consent, will check that they fulfill the inclusion criteria and perform the corresponding test that they need to do. Then the second visit is the one corresponding to the treatment, which in this case is the surgery. And as I said before, there are 2 arms. So the patient is going to be previously randomized to go to the transection of the liver or to have an extra radiofrequency by using one of the devices included in this trial, Culinimbis or Aquamantis. And then we have the different follow-up visits with the different examinations to follow up the patient, and different questionnaires of quality of life and the patient experience. Those 2 are the medical devices. The Culinimbis and Aquamantis, both are radiofrequency devices. The difference is, I think, in the way that the power is measured or given to the patient, but they want to ensure that the entire resection surface is coagulated. And where are we now in the clinical trial process? So from June, more or less, until September, we have been working on the protocol and the different documents that we needed to submit the clinical trial to the ethical committee. This type of clinical trials need to be previously approved by the ethical committee before being able to start working on it. So we have just received, last week, we received the approval from the ethical committee for Hospital del Mar. And we are now working with the rest of the sites because we have started with Spain to get the different approvals of the different hospitals that are going to be participating in the trial. So as we have got the approval from the ethical committee to start performing the trial in Hospital del Mar, this is the first site where we have planned the site initiation visit. During the site initiation visit, what we do is that we meet with the different researchers, and we plan everything for the inclusion of the first patient. This first patient inclusion is also planned to be in November, before the end of the month. And we will continue working from now on, as I was saying, in getting the different approvals of the different Spanish sites and initiating the sites. And in parallel, we are going to be working with the different countries in Europe to also have the approval for the trial in these different countries. So this is the map, at least by the moment. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Paloma. I'm going and moving to our next speaker, which is Dr. Dimitris Mauridis, Dr. Professor. So the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Now we see the slides, but I would just ask you to put it into the presentation mode, which now is, and I think we can proceed. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I'm Dimitris Mavridis. I'm statistician in the University of Ioannina, that's in Greece. I'm going to present the fourth work package of the Liberation project. And there are two other partners, Fundación Avedisto Donabedian from Spain and Sign to Europe from Portugal. So I'm going to summarize all the tasks in this work package, but I know there are people from Spain and Portugal online. So if I do a poor job at describing your parts, feel free to interrupt me and help me with the description. So the tasks of our work package can be summarized here. We are going, we have three main tasks, more than that, but they can be summarized in three tasks. One is to conduct a systematic review, a network meta-analysis of all the available interventions. And the next one would be to evaluate the quality of life of the patients. And the last one is the socioeconomic evaluation of the project. So just as you have seen in the two previous presentations, we have a multi-center pragmatic trial. We have two groups, the one with the additional coagulation of the margin, and then the control group. And we want to see which one is more effective or safe. And the primary outcome is local recurrence. So this is one trial, the Liberation trial. But of course, in practice, there are many trials, possibly with contradictory results. And not only comparing these two interventions, but maybe a plethora of other competing interventions. So in practice, we have lots of trials with contradictory results, and we want to summarize them. And the way to do that is through a systematic review that will identify all the published trials on the topic and will summarize them. And the statistical method for doing so is called meta-analysis. It's a statistical method for synthesizing the results from many individual trials. So this method is a part of a bigger process called a systematic review. So we need to define the review question, which is actually what was described before. It's the review question of our trial. We have to look for in certain databases and using certain keywords for all the studies that address the same problem. We need to extract data from these trials, assess the risk of bias in these trials, and then synthesize them using meta-analysis. So in the end, we will end up with a network plot, as we call it, something that looks like this plot. So imagine that all the nodes, all the circles are interventions, all the possible interventions that a patient can get. And all the lines refer to randomized control trials. So for example, the left-hand side plot, A, that refers to overall recurrence, and B refers to local recurrence. This is from a very recent publication that was published like a month ago. And you can see that there are lines connecting some of the interventions. So there are trials comparing some interventions, but there are not lines from comparing some other interventions. So for example, D and D, and you can see all the numbers refer to interventions, like A refers to radiofrequency ablation, and so on for the rest of the nodes. But even if two trials have not been compared head-to-head directly in a randomized trial, still we can get some information about the relative efficacy and safety between these two interventions, because we can go, for example, from D to E indirectly through B and A. So the idea is to collect all possible trials, identify all possible interventions that the patient can get, and then evaluate the relative efficacy and safety between these interventions using this method that is called network meta-analysis. So in the end, we will synthesize, by synthesizing both direct from randomized controlled trials and indirect evidence, going directly from one node to the other, we will get more precise and certain results. We have more information, and we can create a hierarchy of interventions from the best to worst for each outcome that we are interested in. So that's the first part that we will do mainly here in Ioannina. Then we have the Barcelona's role in liberation that can be summarized in this slide. So in the beginning, they are going to help us a lot with conducting the systematic review and the network meta-analysis for the first 2 years. Generally, one of their main roles, and that's it is from month 1 to month 60, is to evaluate the quality of life for patients with liver metastasis. So this PROMS and PREMS stands for patient-reported outcome measures and patient-reported experience measures. So they are going to administer a lot of questionnaires that aim to evaluate these two quantities that can be summarized in the quality of life of the patient, and they're going to give them in various parts of the trial. And also they're going to administer them in all 7 countries that are involved in the project. They are going to translate in each language and administer the questionnaires in the patient's language. Then they have what is called the living labs, which is it's like creating an environment where all the stakeholders, like the clinician, the patients, can interact in a real life context, and they can give important information about the factors that impact on the quality of life of the patient. And they're going to also to create an interactive decision tool that will be integrated in the webpage of Liveration and will summarize the main findings of the project. And then we have also from Portugal that actually is going to collaborate a lot with you, the European Liver Patient Association. So they are going to involve all possible stakeholders like patients, doctors, etc. And through iterative discussions, they aim to identify the conditions that are necessary for the successful implementation of the Liveration results into clinical practice. That's the task, one of the tasks, and they have another task that is also very much associated with the European Liver Patient Association. This is the patient awareness and socioeconomic evaluation task, and in this task, sign along with ELPA, will develop an evaluation of the social, health, and economic factors of the project and how these are let's say implemented into clinical practice. So I'm very happy for Fad and Sign if they want to add anything about the task. I'm very happy if they do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mavridis, for an excellent presentation. As I said, let's keep questions at the end. So I'm giving the floor to our final speaker, Mr. David Alcantara.
Okay, thank you very much, Veronica.
I think that Professor Mavridis, you have to stop sharing your
I'm
screen.
I'm trying to find where it is. Yeah, stop share. Okay, I got it. I think I got it.
Zoom is always giving us challenges. David, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me 1 second.
So please firstly make sure that your presentation is open leave it on the desktop and then go back to Zoom and try to share your presentation.
Okay. 1 second. 1 second. Because.
And if not, if I remember correctly, I should have your presentation so I can jump in. So let me know.
Yeah. 1 second, because my computer asked me for permissions, for giving permissions to Zoom. And
if there is a problem, David, I have the presentation ready.
oh, please, I appreciate if you.
Yeah.
If you.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So I have it in the drive, okay, for you to share. So it was. But I have, I don't know if, because I have integrated a video pill. I don't know if will be possible to show.
And where do you have it? At the beginning of the presentation, or you change the presentation after you send it to us?
No, I have it in the presentation, but where is it? In app management or where? The application. Zoom. It's okay. Zoom. It's happening. Okay, don't worry, Veronica. I appreciate you. I appreciate your help.
Okay, okay, good. So I share it. So just let me know if you hear, if you see it in the presentation mode, and then just let me know, like next slide and next slide.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, to be here. So I'm David Alcantara, the president of SACSIS, okay, the Society for the Improvement of Science. So we are a scientific consultancy company that help scientists to get European funding for their research and innovation projects. So next slide, please. So as my colleagues have already introduced it, so we are partners of Liberation Project, a multi-center pragmatic clinical trials that will be implemented in 7 different European countries, okay, to determine what if we can decrease the recurrence rate of colorectal cancer liver metastasis. Next, please. So we have a fantastic team, okay, inside the project that is a mixture between social scientists, biomedical researchers, and also clinicians, okay, plus the 24 clinical sites that will be across all Europe. Next, please. So all this, the information of the Liberation Project, what it's about, what is the Liberation Consortium, the project aims, and also the main partners on this project can be found on our flyer, okay? Liberation flyer that can be downloaded from our website, okay? That is liberation.eu. Next slide, please. So as a leader of Work Package 5, so this is the dissemination, communication, and exploitation activities. So we designed 7 objectives, okay? So the first objective was to develop an information and communication package to raise awareness, to communicate and disseminate the project beyond the project partners. The third objective is to reinforce the scientific position of the clinical partners. The fourth objective of this work package is to facilitate and promote interaction with the different stakeholders, okay, from researchers to final end users, okay, to patients. And the fifth objective is to give the scientists involved in the project an advanced training, okay. All these 5 objectives goes into one direction, that is to translate all the results of this project to the European healthcare system, okay, to get a new therapeutic approach for the treatment of colorectal liver metastasis and also hepatocarcinoma. Next, please. So our first tool, principal tool, okay, to raise awareness to the different stakeholders is our website. Okay, as I said, you can find it at liberation.eu, and this is a screenshot of the website that has the regular sections that you can find in other European projects. Okay, we have the homepage, okay, with the main information. Also, we have the project tab and the team tab, where you can read and get some deeper information. What is the beneficiaries and also the people that are involved there. Also, you can find associated partners and the 24 clinical sites. Okay, but of course, you also have the news tab, where we have been updating with the latest news and the latest results that we will be obtaining during the clinical trial, and the contact, okay, for everybody that can send us a message or keep in contact with any of the partners of the project. Okay, in this website we have a special dedication to patients and also to professionals. Next, please. So we have created an info package for patients, okay, that have been, this is a leaflet that have been written in a very easy to understand language, okay, that everybody non-technical can read it and understand it. And you can download it in the website, okay, under the patients tab. Okay, next. We also prepare an info package for professionals that here we go deeper in the technical jargon, okay, because it's targeted to clinicians and biomedical researchers, okay. And last but not least, next, we also prepare an info package for policymakers, okay, because they are also very important, especially in the last step of translations of the clinical results to the European healthcare system. Okay, next, please. So this is, we also prepare what we call the video pills, okay? That are very short videos with key aspects of the Liberation project, okay? So I have prepared this video. I don't know if you can play. It's just 2 minutes, okay? These video pills have been prepared by Shine team partner. So and we have the first video really nice looking. So I would like to show it today. I don't know if.
Let's try. Can you hear it?
Did you know that colorectal cancer, also called CRC, is the 4th most common cancer in men and women? Between 20% and 30% of patients with advanced CRC have liver metastases, and liver cancer is the 2nd leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the world. Despite recent advances, removing the part of the liver affected by cancer is the only chance of cure for patients with liver cancer and liver metastases. This is called liver resection. However, this does not work for everybody. Up to 27% of patients undergoing liver cancer resection find themselves with liver cancer coming back after 1 to 2 years. This is what we call a local recurrence. How can we improve these numbers? The Liveration project started in June 2023 and hopes to answer to this challenge
the video is
by
not showing. I
evaluating
don't
a new
know
technique called additional.
It's just the sound.
So can you hear the sound or not?
Yes, the sound is
Yes.
okay, but not the video. That the people are showing some messages in the chat.
So you cannot see the video. Okay, let's try to do it one more time. Share. What about now? Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
Did you know that colorectal cancer, also called CRC, is the 4th most common cancer in men and women? Between 20% and 30% of patients with advanced CRC have liver metastases, and liver cancer is the 2nd leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the world. Despite recent advances, removing the part of the liver affected by cancer is the only chance of cure for patients with liver cancer and liver metastases. This is called liver resection. However, this does not work for everybody. Up to 27% of patients undergoing liver cancer resection find themselves with liver cancer coming back after 1 to 2 years. This is what we call a local recurrence. How can we improve these numbers? The Liveration project started in June 2023 and hopes to answer to this challenge by evaluating a new technique called additional coagulation of the margin, ACM. This is performed with a radio frequency device, combined with regular liver surgery, and it can lower the chances of liver cancer coming back and improve survival rates. Liveration is an ambitious multi-center clinical trial, involving 720 patients in 24 clinical centers across Europe, that aims to decrease local recurrence, enhance patient survival odds, and improve quality of life. Liveration is a 5-year project, funded by the European Union's Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Programme, coordinated by
Consorcio Mar Parc de Salud de Barcelona.
It has 7 partners, for affiliated entities, and will involve clinical sites across 7 European countries. From the science behind, to the medical professionals and the patients involved, Liveration aims at exploring new treatments and improving patients' quality of life. Follow us to know more.
Okay, thank you.
Did you know that colorectal cancer, also called CRC, is the 4th?
Going back to the presentation, right, David?
Yes, please. Yes.
Give me a second. Okay. We are here on the next slide.
Okay, so to communicate and disseminate the project beyond the project partners, it was we have on the website the dedicated patients tab. Okay, it's a page, okay, inside the website where it has been written with an easy to understand language to explain all what patients will get during the clinical trial. Okay, since the specifications and information about the patients, reporting and outcome experience, how we will be performing the multi-stakeholder group, and also the living labs. Next, please. We will living labs, okay, that will be led by FAD partner, okay. So will be performed to identify patient needs and preferences related to quality of life, patient experience, and stakeholder engagement. Okay, next. And of course, okay, we want to be present in all possible channels, okay, to maximize the outreach of our project, okay, and we have a presence in 4 different social media channels: in Twitter, now it's X, okay, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So we appreciate all the presence to follow us, to get more information and all the news that we will be publishing during the execution, okay, of this project. Next, please. To reinforce the scientific position of the clinical and academic partners, okay, in the professional page, okay, of the website, we have developed what we call a hub of articles, okay, that this is a curated content of the most recent and most related scientific information for professionals related to our clinical trial, okay? So they can find information fast. Okay. Next, please. And also to facilitate and promote interaction with other stakeholders, okay? We will be participating in many events, okay? Researchers Night, for example, layman events like this one, today's event, and all the PIs will be participating also in scientific conferences and other events, okay? The coordinator of this project is also participating in the cancer diagnosis and treatment clusters, okay? That is part of the cancer mission of the European program, the Horizon European program. Next, please. And finally, so we will also give advanced training, okay, to the scientists and clinicians involved in the project, okay? So we have already performed the first training of clinicians, so very recently, 3 weeks ago, and we will be, the training will be performed during the implementation of this trial. Next. So we have the several contact ways, okay? The first one is in our website, okay, liberation.eu/contact, okay? We have a form there that you can submit as a message, and also on social media channels, okay? It's Liberation EU, okay? In all the 4 channels, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And finally, okay, thank you everybody that is here attending today. And as I say, okay, so we try to maximize the outreach of our results. So please follow us on social media, and we will go back with you, okay, following and sharing also your news. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you all the speakers for excellent presentations. Of course, ELPA is a part of the consortium. We are part of the Work Package 5, Communication and Dissemination. So for the audience, we are closely collaborating with David and his team. And this very event is one of our main deliverables. So we are delivering information to patient and civil society. So now I am opening the floor to questions. So we have patient representatives, we have also hepatologists. We don't have a lot of time, I'm gonna be honest, but ELPA members, feel free to ask any question that you may have. Let's see. I see 2 hands raised, but I don't know from who. So if you have a question, sorry, Milan and also Janula. So we have representatives from Cyprus and North Macedonia.
Janula, please.
Ladies first. Thank you, Milan. First of all, I would like to thank you all for the very informative information and your presentation. They were very interesting. I have 2 questions. One is to Paloma Monaga, to the lady, and the other one is to David. So
Great.
can I make them 2, or shall I wait, make one and then, is that okay? All right. Miss Paloma, you said about the study that it was going on for 5 years. What I would like to I'm interested in how many patients took part in this study, and how many stay up to the end, remain up to the end of the 5 years that you put, you know, to finish this year.
So as I was saying, we hope to include like around 30 patients in each of the sites. So the randomization is 1-1, which means that half of the patients will go to the control arm and the other half will go to the treatment arm. And there are 7 visits, and the last visit, I think it is on the last year. So we hope that the patient remains until the last visit. That's what we want. And we are going to work on the engagement of the patients to be performing the different visits within the trial.
I mean, they were compliant. I wanted to see the compliance rate up to the end, because, it's very difficult to keep patients.
Yeah, especially if it lasts like the whole set of years that we are going to have. You are completely right. I mean, we cannot know exactly the number of patients that will finally achieve the last visit, but we are going to work to have like the majority, and if it is possible to have all of them to achieve the last visit that they have to perform.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the other one to David. David, one of your slides spoke about the methods approach to patients. What kind of methods you use to approach those patients?
Okay, so we will, as I said, we will have different ways. Okay, the first tool is the website. But the website alone is you need to promote, okay, and for that we will be using social media, okay. So we have a strategy, okay, of publications to increase the interest and engagement with the different stakeholders, especially patients, okay, because for us we want to encourage them also to approach to the clinical sites and enter to the trial, okay. So this is so we have a strategy of posting, okay, every 2 weeks approximately, with content, with engaging and compelling content, especially. So we also will go to conferences, okay, and maximize the average of the Liberation project, and participate in other events. Okay, virtual events and present events. This is the strategy, okay, to see. So we have an evaluation every year, okay, to see the key performance indicators, and over that, with that information, we will work to improve it, okay. So in our dissemination plan, so we have these guidelines to reach, and also to keep flexible, okay, to have some activities to perform or to improve.
Yes. Normally these patients are also suffering from a lot of let's say emotional problems, and I wouldn't say psychological, because they are more emotional, they are more stressful, they are very and it's good to know this, that there are ways to approach these people, because it's not just to cure the, it's holistic, the treatment. It's not just the medicine.
But we also have the contribution from social scientists too, okay, that they help us, okay, to configure and also to point to the different psychological levels, okay? So
Yes.
we on them because they are the experts.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, well, is Carola here? I was going to
Yes.
introduce Carola also, that
Yes.
they are going to perform different questionnaires. Well, I let you, Carola.
Yes,
So-
yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to add to the previous presentation that we at FAD, that is an organization focused on quality research and quality improvement, where one of the domain is patient-centered care, and with the idea to ensure that patient preferences, patient priorities, and experiences are taken into account along the entire project. So we are collecting, as have been mentioned, quality of life that cover different type of domain, not only physical, but also emotional. And also after the 30 days of the surgery, we will evaluate the patient experience. We are validating one specific questionnaire into different languages. So I think this will be also an added value of this project in terms of having a specific instrument to evaluate patient experiences after the intervention. And also we will be coordinating the living labs that are in some way a very good tool to introduce patient preferences and experiences along the entire project, and having the opportunity to interact with other stakeholders and be able also to, in some way, innovate or give input to the interventions and what kind of perspective can be introduced to sustain this type of intervention in the future. So, and we will also be responsible of preparing the final report on citizen engagement and patient engagement. So we are very happy to work with you with ELPA partners in order to prepare all these materials and stages in this project.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Janula, for your question. And I see Dr. Vlasova. There is another question from Slovakia.
Good evening. I have a very short question, whether an interim analysis is planned. It is a 5-year project, whether it is doable. Thank you.
Yes, I think that maybe Carlos can answer to this question better, but I think, if I remember well, there's an interim analysis, but I need to look it because I do not remember exactly when is it planned. But to answer your question, there's gonna be an interim analysis.
And are there any procedures planned? What would be included in the analysis, and whether there are any plans?
Yeah, I think that all this has been detailed at the protocol regarding the interim analysis. Were you going to say something, Carlos?
Yes, there is an interim analysis, as you said. Precise date, I think, was 1 year and a half, and there will be statistical interim analysis at that. Even an interim publication is planned by the midway of this study. Do I remember well, David? Because you also participated in this design, David.
Yes.
Do you remember when the interim analysis was planned? 1 year and a half, probably. Yeah, there was an interim analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure, because it's 3 years of follow-up, and I think it's difficult to wait 3 years without any data. So it's safer and it's wiser to do that. And that was put in that's included in the protocol. Yeah, correct. Good question.
It's good to hear that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, so we hope maybe that we could have some initial data in 2 years, more or less, 2 years and a half, more or less. Thank you.
Thank you very much for nice presentations, for sharing with us your work in this amazing project. As I said at the beginning, we will be back with the second Laymen event in a few years. where we will be sharing with you the results, the objectives, and informations that were learned throughout the years of this project, and also the next steps in the future. Thank you for being with us, and goodbye.